Diddy, do it. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Welcome. And I have quite a bit of things that we can watch and go over and hang out. They're going to be doing the bond hearing at... What time is it at again? Let me double check. Lindsay sent it to me. 3:30. So we got an hour and a half. I have a bunch of things we can watch and chill, hang out. And then once that starts, thank you. Once that starts, we're going to be reading the live tweets so we know what's going on inside of the courtroom, like yesterday. Sorry. I worked out twice today, so I need some water. So let's get to it. The first thing I wanted to start out with, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There is a mess of stuff. And I'm going to wait a little bit to get to some of the juicy stuff. Give people a minute to join, or a couple of minutes, 10, 15, 20, or whatever. But Boosie Badass. You know who Boosie Badass is? Boosie Badass. Boosie. I thought I said booby. Boosie Badass, man. You know who Boosie Badass is? I'm going to read it twice. We'll read it once now, and then when more people join later, we'll read it again. Boosie Badass. I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flew out these hoes out for threesomes. He just freakier. We actually go call women prostitutes, hoe fly, and willingly to be with their partners for sex. Let me try that again. Hold on. We actually go call women prostitutes who fly and willingly be with their partners for sex. If that's the case, you've been flued out and had sex, you should be labeled a prostitute. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping for shit. No, I like that.
Oh my God. Boosie don't care. The Boosie is very unfiltered. He don't give a shit. If that's the case, then 80% of the women reading this is trafficking. What? They're in trafficking. You're a celebrity. You gotta fly the pee. You gotta fly the kitty out. How else you gonna get the kitty? You're never in one place. When I saw that video, I was pissed off at this ninja. Oh, I don't have the whole post. Let me pull up the original. It was actually a tweet. Boosie Badass snapping. Taking up defendant Diddy. Boosie Badass. He's like a rapper. I don't know what else he does. He's a rapper. Maybe he has some business dealings too. I'm not sure. Let me read the whole post here. Boosie Badass. You think I care what you say? Oh God. This ninja, like he really got a problem, but facing life in prison for doing basically what so many entertainer has done. Hashtag I disagree. Hashtag hell nah. Wow. You talking like you on them tapes. Who's a Kamala supporter? Boosie or Diddy? Don't tell on yourself now. Not a good hill to die on. You might want to wait until they reveal what they have before you speak on the situation. You're going to be back on here defending yourself if you find out he had underage girls or blackmailing people into sex acts. Boosie, for real? Those court documents including drugging underage girls, employees, and sex workers against their will, blowing up cars. Yeah, blowing up cars. He's like the mafia. Shooting a woman in the face. And many... Oh, I forgot about that whole story about this woman. Maybe we should find it. I don't know if any of the mods remember. There was a woman that did an interview and she said that Puffy was involved or something, allegedly her getting shot in the face. If somebody finds that, email it to me or let me know where you're going to send it so I can show it to people. Boosie. Boosie, did you even watch the press conference or read the indictment? Please don't be ignorant. Oh, man. And then I think he said another post. Let me see. Hold on. This is another post he did a couple hours ago. I'm starting to feel like this sex trafficking charge for flying bitches in for some threesome will be a tool used to take down hip-hop artists and celebrities. Just think about it. Who flying they, yes, and to turn up? Who always in a different city and got to fly the kitty to them? You ain't tripping and go give them sex partner a little change. Think about this ish real. If you fly a chick and y'all turn up and you give her a little change so she's straight when she goes, that's some sex trafficking. Be careful who you fly in. Oh! I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about what Boosie's saying? I don't think Boosie has read the whole thing. I think I understand what he's trying to say. You know, with rappers, you're flying people out and whatever. You know, I've always been a little bit paranoid myself, and I'm just like, you know, I don't have like a huge following. I just have, you know, over 200 something. But I've often thought myself, like, be careful when I'm hanging out with a chick. Paranoid, because you don't know if they're gonna make up some shit and lie about you, whatever, you know. But the Diddy stuff is on a whole nother level. Maybe he hasn't read the indictment or seen the press conference. Hello. Oh, okay, thanks. We got that interview. Let's check out this little interview. I got a bunch of stuff, so get cozy. If you guys could hit the like button, please, I'd appreciate that. Let's watch this lady's interview. Let's watch this lady's interview. Now, I was paranoid, yeah. I don't know if I'm being recorded. I don't know what you're doing. I gotta know who you are. Mel gonna buy a private jet? Nah, you're flying Spirit. Real quick before we watch the sex slave
She joins us now, sharing her story. Natanya, thank you so much for being with us. I can't imagine what you've been through since 1999, and then all the emotions that must be coming up over the last couple of days. What was your reaction, Natanya, when you saw these massive raids at P. Diddy's two homes?
First and foremost, thank you for having me. It was very emotional. In short, it was extremely emotional because it was basically it marked 25 years, a quarter of a century since this occurred, and I've had to relive this.
So this woman is saying that P. Diddy shot her in the face at a club in New York, 1999. We've talked about this before.
25 years, a quarter of a century since this occurred, and I've had to relive this over and over again, intermittently in that time. So when I saw it, it was very cathartic because I finally felt like justice would be done. Justice would be mine and belong to all of his victims.
Yeah, and you have said since really right after the shooting that it was P. Diddy who shot you. I mean, I think you even said it to the doctor that night, right?
I said it immediately. I literally watched them pull out the guns. I've had a clear point of view. I mean, for God's sake, I got shot in my nose. I was facing them directly. I watched everything occur and have described it, you know, vehemently.
I mean, maybe I see what you guys are talking about in the chat. So if we leave the drugging part out of it, maybe one of the things that Boosie is trying to say, like if you're paying a woman, I guess, he's trying to say if you pay a woman and you send her off with some money to take care of herself or whatever, and you flew her out, that could be considered like sex trafficking, I guess. So he's saying a lot of entertainers do that.
To all parties involved. I think in our society, we have respectability politics. There are people who want to be adjacent to power or celebrity or money, and there's a hierarchy of respectability. Because his name was more notable, he was believed rather than a victim who gave a first-hand account. By the grace of God, I survived.
Yeah, and this was also a different time. I mean, things were very, very different in 1999. I mean, did you sense right from the beginning that no one believed you?
Well, I I don't think that was on my mind. I think first and foremost, I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 3. At the time, I was a mother of 2. And just surviving and getting home to my children was of the utmost importance to me. Being whole and being able to mother them. That was, primary on my list. I didn't have any reason to believe that to think that someone would not believe me. But as things unfolded, it was a very short period of time where I realized that's what in fact was happening.
So, as I mentioned, Diddy has denied being the one who pulled the trigger. But this is interesting, Natanya. Rodney Jones, also known as Little Rod, is now suing Diddy for sexual harassment. That's something that's been in the headlines for the last couple of days. And there's a very interesting quote from his lawsuit that relates back to you that I want to read because it sort of ties all of this together. And it says, Jones claims in the lawsuit, Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for the shooting in the nightclub in New York City with rapper Shine. He shared that artist and Mr. Combs' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, carried the gun into the club for him and passed him the gun after he got into an altercation with another individual. So now you have Little Rod in this new lawsuit saying that Diddy told him that he actually was responsible. I mean, what did you think when you read that?
Well, I was incensed for a number of reasons. First and foremost, for the past quarter of a century, he's vehemently denied that he was responsible, even though I knew wholeheartedly, and as so many others who were in the club that night, we all knew he was responsible. A lot of people were afraid for their safety, justifiably so. I mean, the history that has occurred in the last 25 years proves that they were justified in being afraid. But I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid because I still I have 9 bullet fragments remaining in my face. So when I saw that count 128, that's actually count 128 of the lawsuit. When I saw that on a podcast that was analyzing all of the counts, I knew I had to speak. I had no intention of going viral. I was just getting it out of me. I have a mantra, having my say. There was a time a few years ago where I had a talk radio show called Having My Say. And that's very important to me. I believe everyone is entitled to have their say. Far too often we don't hear people or listen. And so I just wanted to get it out of me because it was like an audible, deep breath that I needed to take. And I made the TikTok video not expecting it to go viral. Went to pick up my daughter, came back home, and she's like...
Yeah, she did a TikTok. She was on TikTok. We could probably find that too. And she spoke about her situation about getting shot. She claims shot by Diddy. Random 2, thank you for the super chat. So would it be weird if I was to start Aiken Mills oil fund? We all know what kind of oil. Thanks for the update. What oil? What am I missing? I don't know why I didn't catch that.
Like, and I literally told her, I'm like, well,
thank you, Marion.
You're probably going to see it tomorrow. I made a video on TikTok. Maybe 100 people will see it. By the time we got home, she said, Mom, it was 70,000 people. And I could not believe it. But it was time. It was time for me to speak. I'd stayed quiet for 25 years.
Oh, baby oil. I was slacking. Yo, did you guys notice the thumbnail, too, that I did? Isn't that crazy? Like this picture? I think this is AI. I don't know. This is the more plain version of it, but like, bro. Imagine like the feds just walking in and seeing like just baby oil everywhere, stacks and stacks and stacks, it's just everywhere, man. Damn.
Time to speak.
Yeah, we don't know yet what's going to happen with the P. Diddy situation. Obviously, again, he hasn't been arrested. There's clearly a very big federal investigation happening now. But I'm thinking back to other cases, R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein. When they started to dig, all sorts of stuff came to the surface. They reopened old investigations. Would you like to see the investigation involving you getting shot at that club be reopened?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The irony is there was a grand jury. We all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened. My shooting, ironically, the night I went into the club, I had a comb in my pocketbook called a rat tail comb. People in the beauty industry or people that use that type of comb would be all too familiar. It's just a comb. It can't do anything to harm anyone. And I had the very security officer who lied during the trial, Sharice I forget her last name, but she literally took it from me and kind of pushed me like, you can't take this thing. This is a weapon. To let other people in with guns. If someone had cloned me 24 years ago, I'd be fine. You wouldn't even know my name. But having been shot by someone that was allowed to come into the gun when I couldn't bring in a phone, I would absolutely unequivocally like the case reopened. It needs to be reopened. And the saddest part for me is, had people taken what I said more seriously and listened more intently, 24 years worth of people probably would not have had to suffer.
Yeah, and I ask you this respectfully, just because I think people at home might be wondering, and I've never been shot. I can't imagine what that's like. But, you know, in the chaos of that moment, and it's a club and there's people all around, like, how can you be sure that it was actually P. Diddy?
Because I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands. But then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hip.
Damn.
And I knew. I instantly turned to my friends and told them, be careful, watch out. And when I turned back, I know, and I've said over and over, I've heard the voice of God said, you are about to be hit. Calm down. And as I said no, I looked straight forward ahead and I watched the muzzle flash from both of their guns and I felt the impact to my face instantly.
Wow.
There's no doubt in my mind who shot me.
Thanks so much for watching.
Wow. Diddy. Oh, man. So we're going to check out the sex slave video from a while back. But for the new people that are joining, well, I'll talk about Boosie again in a little bit. I'll let some more people to join. We'll get closer to that time. We'll revisit Boosie. Boosie badass. Oh, no. Boosie badass. You didn't do it, did you? Boosie. Where's the sex slave at? Oh, man.
They must believe.
How can I find it? Oh, here it is. Tripping. Bro. You guys probably heard or seen this guy.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Everybody thought he was crazy. Everybody said he was a nut job. And he was talking about Rick Ross was getting down with P. Diddy, and I forgot who else. And it seems like a lot of stuff this guy was saying was true.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
The man who allegedly opened fire inside of one of former President Donald Trump's Florida hotels several years ago made some wild statements to law enforcement in his interviews, saying he was a sex slave for Sean Diddy Combs. Well, now that federal investigators have raided two of the rapper's homes and an arrest and indictment in a sex trafficking operation could be imminent, the man's comments sound a little less crazy. We'll talk about it. Welcome to
Everybody
Sidebar.
thought he was crazy. Everybody thought he was some type of MK Ultra puppet, and he still could be. I don't know. That he was an experiment.
Presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
He's gone crazed, making up stories about Diddy.
Okay, I'm going to talk about something that I really didn't think I would. Something that when I first heard it, I actually had no idea what this was even about. So this came up during multiple times during our live Q&A shows on the Law and Crime Network when we were covering questions on the Sean Combs case. And a name kept coming up in connection with Combs, and I couldn't understand it. Jonathan Oddi.
Bro, look at those eyes, man. This guy's really mysterious, too. I don't know what happened to him because he, disappeared. Did they ever find him again? The guy disappeared at some point. I don't know if he ever turned up again. Yeah, or did he disappear? I thought he had an upcoming case or something.
Now that name may seem familiar to you, and I will explain why. But what I'm also going to do,
the things he's seen, right, in Diddy's place. Look at his eyes. You could tell he's seen shit. He's seeing it all the time.
May seem familiar to you, and I will explain why. But what I'm also going to do is try to break down and possibly debunk
I don't
the
believe
connection
it. No way.
between this man and
full name?
Combs, but maybe not. Because as wild as some of his claims were, they may make sense now.
Jonathan
We'll talk
Oddi?
about that. The reason I say all of this is because after several bombshell lawsuits were filed against Combs, accusing him of sexual assault, physical violence, human trafficking, after federal agents raided his homes, reportedly pursuant to an ongoing sex trafficking investigation, all of these numerous videos and social media posts and old interviews and more, they've all popped up, particularly in the last 2 weeks. People trying to make some connections between what he said or people said and these allegations. Now, to be clear, Combs has not been charged with.
There's a lot of mystery around this guy because there's a Reddit forum. And like I said, people were calling him crazy, calling him like a nut job and all this stuff, right? The literal title of the heading of this is Revisiting Crazy Nut Bag. And I thought it was crazy too. Jonathan Oddi, his colorful visit to he shot up Trump's place. Maybe he's not too well together, but maybe because of all the shit that he's been through, he's, probably his part crazy, but I don't think he was lying. He's not crazy. He's reacting to his environment, which is crazy. The more we dismiss humans as crazy with no thought, the more we destroy ourselves. Listen to them. And they were like, I invite you to watch the video of this incident and reconsider. His behavior in prior social media commentary certainly shows a very loose coherence. He certainly demonstrates delusions of grandeur related to certain personality disorders. Maybe he was given drugs, as one person says. Anyway, somebody here said, is Jonathan Oddi still alive? Then they wrote back, this was 4 months ago, court date next week. And then somebody here wrote back and said one court case in 2019 said deceased on it. However, a new court case came up for him in Miami-Dade for April 19, 2024. He must have not shown up because they keep upping the court date. The new court date now is June 4, 2024. He could be deceased. Nobody knows, man. Where is this guy? Is there proof he's dead? I heard he's locked up too. Somebody said he's locked up 4 months ago. My friend is an inmate with him. Can you or your friend give anything about his well-being? He's listed on Miami-Dade jail roster. If he were dead, he wouldn't be on the roster. So I don't know. There's a whole mystery about this guy, Jonathan Oddi. I thought Flossie, I'm going to have to ask her too, what happened to this dude? I thought one time we talked about this.
With any crimes connected to this raid. But as charges may be on the horizon and the investigation continues, there is something that has surfaced. This police interrogation of a man who allegedly opened fire inside of one of former President Donald Trump's hotels, Jonathan Oddi. What is his connection to Diddy? Or should I say perceived connection to Diddy? Let me give you a little
protection.
background.
Some people have said witness protection.
Now, you might remember back in 2018, a man went into the Trump National Doral Miami Hotel and Resort in the middle of the night and went on a rampage. The state attorney's office says that Jonathan Oddi fired shots inside the lobby and toward the chandelier on the ceiling, then draped a giant American flag across the hotel's front desk. God. He allegedly walked around breaking items like computer monitors, throwing things around the lobby. When police officers arrived and confronted him, there was a shootout. Oddi seemingly tried to make a run for it, but he had been shot in the leg. He didn't get very far. Police found him hiding. They took him into custody. Oddi was taken to the hospital with 3 gunshot wounds, 2 in one leg, 1 in the other. And while at the hospital, Oddi reportedly made several bizarre statements and asked repeatedly to speak with the FBI, Secret Service, CIA, the media. When Oddi appeared before a judge, he didn't make any kind of wild outburst, but he seemingly admitted to committing at least one of the crimes he's charged with.
1 count of aggravated assault with a firearm, 1 count of armed burglary with a battery or an assault, 1 count of armed criminal mischief causing
This was May 21st, 2018.
damages greater than $1,000, 1 count of armed grand theft, and 1 count of making a false fire alarm offense. So those are the charges. Sir, do you have any money to pay for your own private attorney?
I will request as of now that the court grants me an attorney. I do have funds to pay for my attorney, but I haven't had time to meet with him yet. So I don't know if they're going to take my case or not.
Given the serious nature of these charges, I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you for this preliminary first appearance hearing. Well, it's very clear. It says surveillance footage and witness accounts corroborate that the defendant discharged a handgun multiple times at the arriving City of Doral Police Department and Miami-Dade Police Department law enforcement officers. So that, even though it doesn't specifically state 5, it does mention that there were more than, I believe, 2 uniformed officers, in addition to the unarmed security guard who threatened to kill as well.
He's like trying to, like, raising his hand like he's in class and shit, and his attorney like swiped his hand away. Yo, shut the hell up. Normally, you don't really say much. You're not really supposed to talk because they can use anything against you. They're just reading, I guess, the charges or whatever, unless the judge asks you something. But normally, you're not really supposed to really say much here.
And there was damages greater than $1,000 at the at the Trump National Doral because it says it was over 30,000. So, anything else?
Well, unclear. Well, like I said, there's unclear. There's not a number specifically listed. There could have been one officer on one side and one officer on the other, and that's officers in general, in plural. As far as that's, and I don't think I didn't see necessarily the alarm pushing, but that might I did push alarm.
Wait, what did he say? I didn't, or I did? He said I did.
I did push alarm.
Oh yeah, he said I did push the alarm. Yo, the attorney's like, bro, cut this shit. Yo, stop talking.
The alarm pushing, but that might I did push alarm.
What did he say?
It's not specifically mentioned here, although.
They didn't even know that. It wasn't even mentioned there, but he's over here.
Okay. You know, sir, everything's being recorded, just so you know. If you want to speak, it's fine. I'm happy to listen.
You don't give a shit. You think you care?
Your attorney turned the microphone off, though.
Damn, the lawyer cut his mic. Oh, shit.
Probably a wise move.
Despite having happened so many years ago, though, Oddi's case is still not yet gone to trial. The next in-person status update at the Miami-Dade County Courthouse is scheduled for April 19th. So with all that in mind, what does this all have to do with Diddy? Well, after Oddi was released from the hospital while still wearing what appears to be a hospital gown, Oddi did interviews with law enforcement, including the Secret Service. And we have part of that interrogation. And I will tell you right now, he says some bizarre stuff, okay? After talking about various kinds of conspiracy theories, Oddi asks this one thing out of the blue.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people.
Okay, first thing to talk about here. The Boule is a real thing. It is the senior leadership of Sigma Pi Phi fraternity, the oldest postgraduate fraternity founded by and for black men. It was a secret society in its beginning, but now is
interesting. I don't know
chapters all over the United States. This is an organization for black professionals already experienced in their careers, and Sean Diddy Combs is sometimes rumored to have been a member of Sigma Pi Phi, but no indication that he is. Tell me this whole thing isn't a little bit out there, right? Really makes you think about the people in your life, what they're all about. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Well, there is a service that can help you learn about the reality. Just address.
Find out about your significant other
that you have. So with all at Truth Finder, this is when he starts to create a web of people that he believes are involved in a larger conspiracy.
I had settlement with Sean, okay? And he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land all the contracts. It's his attorneys, which are Mark Garagos and Ben Masalis. Ben Masalis worked for Bad Boy Entertainment for 4 years and worked for Hillary Rodman for 5, okay?
So Mark Garagos and Ben Masalis might be names you recognize. They are well-known legal partners who have represented celebrities like Michael Jackson.
I think there will be more
Chris
fallout
Brown,
from Diddy's
Winona
arrest.
Ryder, Colin
I believe the
Kaepernick,
Fed
Justice
agent
Smollett.
even
Now,
said
Mark
they aren't
Garagos
done
has helped Combs fight
investigating.
legal battles
Thank you
before.
for all
In
your
fact,
hard
in
work and
2015,
dedication, Mel.
the Los Angeles
You
County
are a
District
blessing.
Attorney decided not to file felony charges against Combs after he reportedly assaulted a football coach at UCLA with a kettlebell weight. Now, Combs' son, Justin, was on the team, and the coach reportedly sent him home from practice. It was a whole big mess. Ben Masalis, though, he has an even closer relationship with Combs. He was actually a Bad Boy Entertainment intern back when it was Bad Boy Records. Ben and his father, Kenny, were honored at a Variety magazine event called Power of Law back in 2019, and Combs was there to speak about them. Ben Masalis also took the podium and had some kind words for Combs. He said, quote, Sean Combs gave me an internship which changed my life when I was in high school. For those who don't know, Bad Boy Records is the SEAL Team 6 of internships. It prepared me for everything being under Puff's.
Thank you for the 10, Tammy. I think there will be more fallout from Diddy's arrest. I believe the Fed agent even said they aren't done investigating. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication, Mel. You are a blessing. There's some videos that we're going to watch because, some people think that other people are tied up in this, maybe caught on tape and videos.
tutelage, which is why I think when judges yell at me, it's nothing compared to Puff. He talked about joining up with Mark Garagos after he graduated from Georgetown, saying he believed Garagos truly liked him because, quote, no matter how hard he yelled at me, I was willing to take it based on everything I had experienced with Puffy. Okay, so Oddi knows that Garagos and Marsalius are connected with Combs, but the agenda that they're supposedly pushing is unclear at this point in the interview. But then Oddi drops a bombshell. So, in a 2023 lawsuit, Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, she sued Sean Combs. She claimed that the rapper just supplied her with drugs, forced her to participate in group sex with prostitutes. She says that the sessions were often filmed. Okay, this is what she alleged in 2023. That lawsuit was settled. But now listen to what Oddi says. Again, before this lawsuit was ever filed, before any of these details that she alleged were made public, listen to what he said.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. Okay, for them that's what I was. That's all. All right.
That is eerie. That is eerie. But not.
And that was before the lawsuit came out with all the details.
Not only that, Oddi says he got an STD from the encounter.
Somebody was saying that yesterday. Like, I wonder how much STDs have passed through these people. They're all swapping and whatever. I'm probably not using protection.
And sued.
I caught herpes, and I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But
say won.
Did Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys, okay? And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so. They gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible I threw everything out. It's possible I can produce a copy.
Of course, this was years before Cassie filed her lawsuit against Combs, so the investigators aren't really sure what Oddi is talking about, and they move on. But knowing what we know now about the allegations that Cassie made and others made, Oddi's statement seems to corroborate some of what she said, right? Remember, Cassie said she would be forced to have sex with escorts or prostitutes. Oddi, who describes himself as an investor and entrepreneur, is also reportedly a former stripper and porn actor. Could it be that he was working as an escort in the Miami area when Cassie claims the session happened? But during the interview, Oddi often makes references to a cabal of rich people who have agendas. He claims the hip-hop world had its own goal.
The hip-hop agenda is an agenda to move drugs all over the United States. They move, you need to inform the DEA. They move all the dope, on private jets, which don't get screened by
customs,
by DEA, inside the United States. Okay, they move what's called high grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine and they move liquid cocaine in the bottles too. Okay, so they put the liquid cocaine in the bottles and they move it. I've seen the liquid cocaine. I've drank it myself, having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time.
This particular statement brings your attention to multiple allegations in Cassie's lawsuit, as well as a lawsuit that was filed by Rodney Jones, Little Rod Jones, the former music producer for Diddy. They both talk about rampant drug use within Combs' inner circle. Now, Jones's filing says that Combs' chief of staff, Christina Courtroom, required all employees to walk around with a fanny pack filled with cocaine, GHB,
all kinds of shit,
ecstasy, or MDMA.
All the employees got to carry the drugs around the house.
Marijuana gummies and something called Tucci or pink cocaine. It actually doesn't contain any actual cocaine. It's apparently a mixture of ketamine, MDMA, and caffeine. Oddi again mentions an alleged lawsuit settlement between himself and Combs, but really doesn't get the chance to elaborate further.
I've had a great life. I've settled $4.125 million with Diddy. Okay, was he scared that I was going to expose him?
I don't want to talk about Diddy right now. I want to talk about you. Help me understand you.
By the way, we have found no evidence that Combs paid Oddi $5 million. Just want to be clear about that. But that is what Oddi has to say about Combs in his interrogation. But how does this all connect back to a shootout at a hotel? Well, it seems Oddi is making the connection between Combs and his lawyers and then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Oddi had made many pro-Trump statements and seemed to believe that the attorneys were trying to take him down. So he decided that the American flag draped across the front desk of a hotel would send some sort of message. Now, while some of what Oddi had to say seems to correlate with the new investigation into Combs or these new allegations asserted against Combs, we do need to take everything with a very large grain of salt because Oddi is not the most reliable narrator. Here's another portion of his interview.
They've been promoting a hate agenda against Trump. So people hate him, okay, because they know he is very alpha, okay, very alpha in the sense that he likes money, he likes to make money, and he likes women, and they know they want to defame him in certain ways with Stormy, with other people, because they want him out of the government, okay? But it ain't happening because it's too smart for them. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying to, right?
Don is intelligent. We have a similar type of intelligence and overview of things. The only thing is he's not seeing that Hillary is a distant cousin of his and Obama have a different plan for him. You understand? No offense with Obama. I love each and every American, but he was part of that 9/11 agenda. He's a CIA agent, an ex-CIA agent. That's why there's so much identity issues with Obama. Who knows his real name? They say he was born in Indonesia and he's also born in Hawaii. Nobody knows. Why? Because he's an ex-CIA agent.
Oh, shit.
Basically, Osama bin Laden never existed. It was a creation of the CIA, and it was Obama in a cave talking and looking like an Arab. And then they bombed the Twin Towers. Okay? Wow. So my problem is, I'm here to expose each and single one of them to the American public for the crimes committed on September 11th, 2001.
Wild stuff. I know.
All right. Let me play a little clip, a little more cohesive clip. It's just 2 minutes long of this guy talking.
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I was like a sex slave, okay? For them, that's what I was. That's all right? I caught herpes, and I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross. And Khaled.
And Khaled? DJ Khaled too?
Oh, gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
I seen the liquid cocaine, I've drank it myself. Having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay? It's not good. He drinks it all the time. Alright, he calls it Gigi. That's liquid cocaine.
Alright.
I've settled $4.125 million with Diddy. I've settled $4.125 million.
So yeah. Law and Crime said there was no evidence, but this guy did have a lot of money. Nobody really knew where the money came from. I don't know if he inherited it or not, but did he get it from a lawsuit? Alleged Trump Dorwell gunman Jonathan from dead broke to property buying spree in 1 month. He did spend all this money.
$1 with Diddy. Okay, was he scared that I was exposed?
I don't want to talk about Diddy right now. I want to talk about you. Help me understand you. I mean, who?
It looks like an exchange of gunfire right out of a Hollywood.
When his 6-year marriage dissolved in August 2014, the accused Trump national Doral shooter Jonathan Oddi claimed to have a net worth of negative $1,800. He was making $2,000 a month as a self-employed fitness trainer, he swore in a financial affidavit. But less than a month after his divorce from attorney Tonora Troutwine, he launched a buying spree of distressed properties, $765,000 for 5 properties over a 2-month period. According to records show, none of the properties were purchased with a mortgage, suggesting they were cash purchases. So where did the fitness trainer who was worse than a flat broke in August 2014 acquire enough cash in September 2014 to start buying properties that were headed for foreclosure? And Oddi, a lawyer for Oddi and his ex-wife, would not comment beyond reacting to Oddi allegedly drawing police into the lobby. Okay. Property records reveal Oddi and how he is now an active real estate firm. Oddi Investments do not currently own any property in Miami-Dade, but beginning September 5th, 2014 and ending October 30th, 2014, he bought 5 properties that were otherwise headed for foreclosure. They range from 3 homestead condos sold for as little as $57,000, for which he paid $455,000, and where he apparently lived for some of the next 2 years. The properties purchased for a total of $765,000 were transferred from him to his company and then sold within 18 months to 2 years for a total of $934,000.
What action move?
Police say on Friday he opened fire inside President Donald Trump's luxury hotel.
Sir, I'm ordering that you stay away from the Trump National Doral Hotel.
Police say that's where Oddi stole an American flag from, and that he went into the lobby yelling anti-Trump remarks before shooting the ceiling and chandeliers. Police say he then got into a gun battle with responding officers.
The gun battle goes on for nearly a minute before Oddi decides to make a run for it. Another camera capturing him still firing shots, even tripping on the marble floor. Oddi was shot in the legs as he ran away and was arrested after running up a stairwell.
The accused gunman, Jonathan Oddi, faced...
So that's the mystery of Jonathan Oddi. I don't know where he's at. Maybe he's locked up. I don't know what his deal is, where he's at. We are going to be watching at 3:30. We're going to be watching the live tweets and reading, doing updates.
Okay, here we are. Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here in Foley Square, Southern District of New York, Courthouse. Yesterday was largely spent covering Sean Combs, U.S. versus Sean Combs. We went across the street there into the tall building behind me for the Damian Williams press conference and asked him, would they be seeking his detention? He said yes. And in fact, they did. He didn't answer to compare to the R. Kelly case, but that's another question. Now, the bail hearing went long. I'm going to get back to that in a second. First, a couple of other items. On the Trump docket, there actually is something that Team Trump has asked for an extension of time to respond to Jack Smith's appeal of Eileen Cannon's decision that he's not really qualified as a special counsel, not appropriately appointed or confirmed to bring the documents case. He's appealed to the 11th Circuit. They've asked for an extra 30 days until late October, which would put it closer to the election. So there's that. Now, back to, what else can we say? Oh, on the crypto front, yesterday, among all...
Let's move on from that. Waiting for that. We're going to get to some of these other videos. Oh, I want to watch this, actually.
Or from music mogul to an inmate, Sean Diddy Combs is denied bail on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering.
TMZ has been following this case for months now, and Charles Latibaudier is joining us to dive deeper into what is happening. Charles, I mean, shocking is an understatement when you hear the details of this case. What are your thoughts after hearing the indictment yesterday?
Good morning, Brian and Natalie. I got to tell you, my thoughts reading the 14-page indictment yesterday were that there are a lot of people in Hollywood who are probably worried about which Diddy parties they were at and what was going on. That's not to say that they were necessarily even involved in any of the things that are alleged by the U.S. Attorney's Office. But if you're at that party and it turns out that that's when he set up one of these freak-off sex parties, or that it was going on in another room and you didn't know about it, there's a good chance that you're going to be called by the U.S. Attorney's Office. And certainly if you were involved, you would get a call because they're going to want to know everything you want to know and may even want you to be a witness. I just think, we're just starting to scratch the surface of what this case, this case is going to touch and involve. And the feds have said that this remains an open investigation. There could be more charges for Diddy. There could be more charges for other people involved. And usually the way this works is once they find out other people are involved or were witnesses, they bring them in and they sort of lean on them, and it's sort of like, you're going to cooperate with us, or there's a possibility that you could face charges. So this is going to be a slow developing a case here, because we're just getting started, and I don't see how this trial begins anytime before next year.
There are a lot of wild allegations in those documents that came out yesterday, including 1,000 bottles of baby oil. What surprised you the most about what you read yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, that, Brian, was definitely an alarming graph of the indictment when you read that when they raided, I believe it was the Miami home, where they found 1,000 bottles of, and they said that these were items that were used at the freak-offs. There were also large amounts of drugs, they said, cocaine, ketamine, Molly, GHB, the rape drug. So, they said that the house, according to the feds, that was stocked for these parties that were going on. And then to read their description of how Diddy, as they say, lured women into joining these parties. And they say that he would meet them or lure them, get to know them, and lure them in, thinking they would think that there was going to be a romantic relationship with him. And then it would turn out that they would be at these freak-offs where they would be forced to have, or drugged and forced to have sex with male prostitutes that he was bringing in. And that's one of the counts that he's facing also, is the transportation of individuals for a purpose of prostitution. So really alarming allegations laid out in court. Diddy, of course, has pled not guilty to all of it. And then the real kicker for him at the end of the day was that the judge said, you will be held without bail. And that means however long it takes for this trial to begin, he will be in a federal detention facility in Brooklyn, and not a very nice one. In fact, a fairly notorious one. So you got to figure it. He wants out of there, and he wants out as soon as possible.
We're in this era right now, Charles, of men with power falling from grace in Hollywood. And when I think about Harvey Weinstein, that was an open secret in Hollywood for a very long time about what he was doing with victims. Was this also the case with P. Diddy, that the people kind of knew this was going on?
I will say this. There were always been whispers about his power and how he wielded that power. But I can't say I heard any whispers about these freak-offs, and it's really alarming. We were talking about it yesterday. One, these parties had a lot of individuals. In fact, the U.S. Attorney's Office says that the parties would sometimes go on for days. So there are a lot of individuals involved, and yet, and they say this has been going on for more than 10 years, and yet we didn't hear about that. So that means that all the people that were involved, according to the feds, that he managed to keep them all quiet, that nobody would speak about it. And that does sort of speak to the kind of power he wielded and the fear that people had of him. We were also talking about the fact that the beating of Cassie, which was captured on the hotel surveillance video, that was 6 years ago. And
alleged when Combs
nobody knew about it. Nobody heard about it. Think about all the people that were at the hotel who may have known about it, people who saw the surveillance video and never spoke about it. And like you said, we're in an era where when things like that happen, people speak out about it. So the fact that no one did, and that it only took this, really Cassie's lawsuit before any of this started coming out, it does kind of speak to the power that he wielded, and that the fact that nobody wanted to cross him.
And Charles, what do you think happens next in this case? Members of Sean Combs' family have been ordered to give up their passports. He's currently in jail.
So, all right, Trick Daddy has some commentary to say. Trick love the kids. At the stop and let the sun shine in. The coke in the hand. Trick Daddy.
I don't know what's going on. The next person asks me if I've been to one of them parties, I'm gonna slap the shit out you.
Oh, hell no, don't fuck with.
They don't like that kind at them parties.
They don't like what?
They don't like my kind at them parties.
Oh.
There's a few other real niggas in hip hop that I don't believe ever been invited to one of them parties.
We're rolling. Thank you.
I'm live right now. I don't want to hear that shit.
Hey, what's up? I mean, I don't want to say nothing, but
let me explain something to
you. It's just a little mustache in the middle, like a little. Blip. It kind of looks like it goes over here, half a mustache or something, a quarter.
Yo.
But he's a legend, though. He's a legend.
It's not the time to go off killing yourself, taking no medicine, drinking no bleach, eating no motherfucking poisonous candy and all that, blowing your motherfucking brains out. You know what you did? Go ahead and face the consequences. For those of y'all that are grown adults, we don't care who you laid down and had sex with. It's gonna get exposed right now. It's a good time to come out the closet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit!
But what confuses me is
come out the closet, baby.
1,000 bottles of baby oil and
oh man.
Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping for shit. I like that.
Help me out with the like button, guys, please, and share out the video if you like the live, please.
Lubricant
trick.
They charged him with the RICO. Could have been worse. Could have been the FRICO Act. Damn. And may I be the first to say this has nothing to do with hip hop. This got something to do with them freaky ass niggas. Can't charge the whole hip hop community with this one. Everybody take your charge.
Damn. Trick daddy. Trick love the kids. Stop and let the sun shine in. The coke in the head. They're saying that they're also saying because P. Diddy's very desperate to get this bail, right? And it's happening today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. He's appealing it, hoping that maybe they'll give him some stricter restrictions. And apparently he's even offered. Diddy pushes judge to release him from jail with no female visitors. So he's saying, listen, if you let me go, I promise I won't have any females over. But they need to extend that to males too. Just for real, I mean, and just maybe his attorney can come visit an immediate family or something like that, or somebody, whatever, like a list of people, I don't know.
A year ago today, Diddy was issued a key to New York City. Now, fast forward that year, he's now been indicted in the very city that once showed him love. As prosecutors say, he now faces years and decades behind bars, giving a whole new meaning to bad boy for life. Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, was arrested yesterday at a...
All right, we can save all that for another time. So, yeah, they're talking about Diddy's new proposal for bail, which we're going to get into it. They did reply. I do have the document. We're going to read it. Diddy's new proposal for bail. No female visitors while I'm out. All right, I promise I won't have any females over if you let me out. Diddy's taking another swing at getting out on bail, and he's upping his offer to the court, declaring he will forego contact with all women while he's out. The only way I feel like he might have to offer like GPS tracking 24/7, like all the time, with video monitoring or something. Like maybe they let him, he could set up camera. I mean, he already has cameras everywhere, but he could let them connect to the cameras or something. Maybe, I don't know. In docs obtained by TMZ, Diddy's legal team says if he's released on bail, the security company that keeps a log of all visitors to his Miami Beach home will hand over those logs to the government nightly in order to be fully transparent about who Diddy is contacting. They also say Diddy will limit all visitors to family, property caretakers, and friends who are not co-conspirators in the federal indictment. Specifically, they say Diddy will restrict female visitors with only the exceptions of being family members or mothers of his children. How many mamas he got? Clearly, Diddy and his attorneys are attempting to address the court's concern that he will contact or intimidate witnesses. Further, Diddy also states in the docs that he will have no contact with the grand jury, witnesses, and also agreeing to weekly drug testing. Damn. Weekly drug testing. So you're going to have to take the only drugs he can take is something that's out of your system in a couple days. 2-3 days. Coke? I think, how long is coke in your system? You might still be able to get lit up. How long is cocaine detectable? Well, detectable. Depends what kind of... in urine. Let's try urine first. Are they just going to do a urine test? Few hours to a day or two. in urine up to 3 days. Or longer for chronic users. In saliva 2 to 3 days. In the hair for up to 90 days. So I don't know if they're going to be doing hair tests, but he's trying to get out on a deal. Okay, his drug use is central component to the indictment, which alleges his freak-off sex parties fueled by cocaine, ketamine, GHB, MDMA, and other narcotics plus the feds also say they found drugs in his hotel when he got arrested. Amazing. His financial offer remains in the new bail package of $50 million secured by his Miami mansion and his mother's home. As we reported, Diddy was remanded into custody yesterday. Okay. We can take a look at this. This is like the response from Diddy's people, the attorney. September 17, the detention response. Mr. Combs, through his counsel, submits this letter for release on certain specified conditions. Yesterday evening, Mr. Combs was arrested on an indictment charging him with the following offenses. We know all that. So they're asking Mr. Combs, pursuant to our proposed bail package. This letter will walk through the court through a series of actions taken by Mr. Combs over the past 6 months that prove that he is not a flight risk or a danger to anyone in the community. These actions prove that Mr. Combs is eminently trustworthy, that he is demonstrably committed to showing his innocence in court in the context of this case, and that he should be released on the conditions proposed in order to do so. So you guys tell me if this is convincing. The first thing the court should know is that when it became apparent to his counsel that Mr. Combs would at some point soon be formally charged, he did something extraordinary. He left his home in Miami. Okay, an hour, 2 hours away. Oh, no, actually, I forgot. Yeah, New York. Yeah, New York. That is a flight. And traveled to New York, the very location of the prosecutors and agents investigating. Through counsel, Mr. Combs promptly told the government that he had voluntarily come to New York, offered to tell them specifically where he was, and offered to turn himself in at the appropriate time. Even though Mr. Combs came to New York, authorized his lawyers to tell the government of his location, and offered to self-surrender, the government effected an arrest last evening. This we know is the government's right. However, that he traveled to New York to self-surrender is also something the court should consider. This was not the first action Mr. Combs took to show his trustworthiness and the lack of flight risk. Indeed, it is part of a pattern since even before March 25th, 2024, searches on Mr. Combs' residence. Mr. Combs and his counsel have been fully aware that the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York has been conducting an investigation involving allegations concerning racketeering, sex trafficking, and other offenses. Knowing for these many months that he would be indicted, Mr. Combs has done everything, as will be set out below, to work with the prosecutors in ways that are unusual, if not unprecedented. In the light of these circumstances, he can rebut the presumption of detention here due to his extraordinary actions in the investigation. Mr. Combs should be released on the conditions proposed so that he can fight the case court effectively. So the proposed package, which looks pretty much the same as we saw yesterday, $50,000 bond, $50 million bond, which is going to come from the House. It was co-signed by his family, secured the equity in Mr. Combs' residence located at the 2 West Star Island in Miami, Florida, an appraised value of $48 million. The home is unencumbered in anticipation for the bail hearing, meaning I guess nobody's there. Secured by the equity of Mr. Combs' mother's home located at that address. Mr. Combs' travel will be restricted to the Southern District of Florida. All these places. This is the same thing we saw yesterday. And they have surrendered their passports. Since April 2024, Mr. Combs has been making efforts to sell his airplane. We informed the government of these efforts in May 2024, as explained further below. Just this weekend, Mr. Combs entered into a letter of intent with a party to sell it. Mr. Combs understands he's not to travel to Los Angeles, where the plane had been located this week, and further that the plane is not to be brought to any district which he is located until it's sold. So home detention with a GPS monitoring and all other standard pretrial supervision. The history of the investigation shows a great degree of collaboration between government, Mr. Combs, and his counsel, which should weigh heavily in this court, releasing him on the conditions proposed. Okay. So in this introductory mail, counsel identified himself as counsel for Mr. Combs and stated that he wished to speak with the prosecutors and share information and the matters under the investigation. Counsel did not get a response to the second email. Search warrants were executed in Miami and Los Angeles. He was removed from his airplane and searched. The searches of the residences were unusually public and particularly heavy-handed. The agents had assault rifles trained on the heads and the chests of his children, who were then handcuffed and brought before news cameras and press helicopter. On the day of the searches, counsel called the prosecutors and they spoke for the first time. Counsel indicated that he would accept service of the 2 grand jury subpoenas to Mr. Combs' businesses. So they took his passport. Counsel agreed to advise the government of all domestic travel. Okay. These 2 promises also have been kept. On June 9, 2024, counsel advised the AUSAs that Mr. Combs was traveling from Miami to Los Angeles. So they're keeping in contact. They're informing them. They let them know about selling the airplane. Mr. Combs voluntarily relocated to New York in advance for his arrest. Okay. And he was staying at the Park Hyatt, New York. He made reservations after today, September 17. He would no longer be able to stay at Park Hyatt. So they're claiming they've just been very transparent, that it was in possession of the passports. Okay. Counsel assisted to the government concerning subpoenas. They accepted service. For the past several months, counsel for Mr. Combs and the AUSA have had regular discussions, what documents we had, what we didn't have in regards to documents we did not have where the government may be able to find such documents. We did this for 2 reasons. First, there was nothing in the counsel's estimation that would constitute evidence of Mr. Combs being involved in any federal crime. Second, we wanted to be appropriately helpful to the government in its investigation. To that end, Mr. Combs' entities produced over 144,000 pages of documents to the SDNY in compliance with the subpoena. Paying off the mortgage, we know that, for the house. Okay. And he's presumed innocent. While there's presumption of detention in sex trafficking cases, this presumption is rebuttable. Okay. Mr. Combs' history and characteristics are best demonstrated by the way he has responded to this investigation from the very inception to his most recent decision to travel to New York. He has never run from a challenge, and he will not run from this one. Instead, he takes these challenges head on. He moves towards them confidently with the reassurance or the assurance that right is on his side. These are not merely the words of his lawyer, rather the actions of Mr. Combs over the last several months conclusively prove this. Aside from his actions since the inception of the investigation, Mr. Combs' character is shown through his demonstrated contributions to society in several important areas. First, he has given generously over his entire life to charitable causes. To name only a few examples, since founding Bad Boy Entertainment in 1993, Mr. Combs has actively supported and donated millions to after-school programs and organizations like Boys and Girls Clubs of America. His commitment stems from positive influence such programs had on his own childhood, inspiring him to give back to similar incentives. He also supported organizations like National Foundation of Teaching and FTE, further emphasizing his dedication to creating opportunities for young entrepreneurs. Cornerstone of his philanthropy and education, he fulfilled a lifelong dream when he, with a partner, opened Capital Preparatory Harlem Capital Charter School in 2016 to provide high-quality education in the inner city of New York for the youth. The success of this initiative led to the launch of Capital Preparatory Bronx Charter School in 2020, with Combs donating $1 million to support its development. The school is a part of his broader commitment to education, which includes significant contributions historically black colleges and universities, such as $2 million to Howard University and $1 million to Jackson State University. So you're pulling up all the donations and everything is contributed. Second, few people have done more to advance the cause of black people in the music, entertainment, and fashion industry than Sean Combs has. While he has always been controversial, he has also always championed minorities and unrepresented communities. As chairman of Combs Global, Mr. Combs has used this platform to create the Excellence Program and internship initiative with Endeavor in July 2021, a major initiative designed to provide development. Okay, all right, I think we get the gist. And they're saying he's never evaded, avoided, or eluded, or run from a challenge in his life. He's not going to run. He's staying. Wait, what was this here? Finally, several courts in the district have recognized that the conditions at Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn are not fit for pretrial detention. Just earlier this summer, an inmate was murdered. At least 4 inmates have died by unaliving there in the past 3 years. Uh-oh. We don't want Diddy to somehow end up dead. I want him to go through the court process. Numerous courts in the district have raised concerns with the horrific conditions of the detention there. Damn, so the place that he's at, I guess, is bad? Like horrible? Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Okay. And they're saying, describing conditions at MDC as dreadful and long-standing, and noting that the issues with food contamination and hazardous physical conditions were an ongoing tragedy. Infested with drugs, I don't think that's a problem for him. Plagued by violence, describing overcrowding, staffing issues, and lockdowns. Describing MDC conditions as disgusting and inhumane as anything I've heard about any Colombian prison. So they say it's worse than Colombia prisons, but more so because we're supposed to be better than that. It's the jungle out there. So that's his rebuttal. I don't think it's enough, but I don't know. We'll see today. We're actually almost to the time. 3:30. We got 20 minutes. All right. So this is Suge Knight. Death Row Records founder Suge Knight warned P. Diddy that his life is in danger because of the secrets he knows and the little secret room they participated in. What? What secret room? Shit. Suge.
Tell you what, Puffy. Your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets. Who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in. So, you know they're going to get you if they can. It's a little crazy how Puffy get booted out the alcohol business and Jimmy Iovine steps in with Andre and Snoopy promoting it. It's never a good look when it comes to culture of hip-hop and for our community, our people. I turn myself in.
Come with me, Hail Mary, run quick, see. What do we have in now? Da 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 da.
Sometimes you gotta face the music. That's most of the time. Puffy, I'm gonna give you some real advice. 2 quick things. You gotta make a decision. When you go to prison, either you're gonna be standing up pissing or squatting sitting down pissing. What? I advise you to try to take the first one, because you know if you're squatting pissing on the seat, you know what that means.
What that mean?
Oh yeah, by the way, do not do your time going by Brother Love. Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. I'm out.
Come with me. Oh, I can't write this right now. I have to. Come with me, Mary. Run, Quixie. What do we have here now? Ride or die. Now they're claiming here. This is another clip. You guys tell me in the chat what you think about this. There, people are saying, caught on camera, Sean Diddy Combs was seen patting down Justin Bieber, allegedly checking for a wire following his federal raids on his Miami and New York properties. Old videos of Justin Bieber and Sean Combs are resurfacing, sparking renewed speculation about Bieber's past interactions with Diddy during his time as a minor. Some are now questioning whether Justin Bieber might have been a victim of grooming and SA. With growing rumors online, many are wondering whether Bieber has been contacted by federal authorities and if he'll cooperate on an ongoing investigation. Do you think Justin Bieber will testify against Sean Combs? So somebody said this is a reach. He's not checking him for a wire, but then somebody said yes. I don't know. Maybe he's just tapping him, talking about it. The hell is this? Oh. Run, Quixie. I don't think Bieber will tell either. I don't think Bieber wants that stuff out, whatever he's been through. You think he was checking for a while? Damn, bro. That's not a pat down at all. Stop reaching. And somebody here said, yes, he was. I know I lay down. I used to do security, and I know how people pay or pat people down, I guess, discreetly. I don't think Bieber, I don't think he's going to come forward. If something happened, some people think he did, but Diddy hidden tapes could literally change the world if the world for the better if released and exposed. A criminally deviant participants at the freak-off should be held accountable. Here he is collecting phones from the girls and the guests of his freak-offs. Phones. That is something that some celebrities do. I think they'll take her phone, I guess. They want recording or something like that. Party time. Oh, give me 1 second. So we got some video footage of the outside, baby. Damn me. Okay, they're outside of the courthouse. Let me play that on the background. Waiting for Diddy. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Up, up, up. Diddy search. There's nothing like a Diddy search. Okay. We outside. What happened? I guess it froze. All right, well, we'll wait for them. I have other stuff we can do. We got Trick Daddy, we passed that. collecting phones at the party. Baby oil. Oh man, this is foul. This is foul. I can't really play this audio, but I can skip past it. What happened to this? Stream. They froze. This is supposedly breaking audio has surfaced of Diddy's former bodyguard. And allegedly revealing Sean Combs engaging in unprotected sex with Meek Mill after reportedly spiking his drink at his mansion. Allegedly. I don't know. There's no way to confirm this is it. Oh, I'm going to skip that. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip that audio and just go to this guy. All right.
All the champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the fuck out. I don't drink, so I was playing that shit off like I don't fucking drink. I smoke, nigga. Like, I smoke and I had my own weed, but, like, everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the fucking door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the fuck was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against ass cheeks. I heard niggas struggling to take dick. I heard niggas being like, yeah, daddy. Like, when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all that shit because I was like, this nigga Diddy rich. So
he's saying he's the one that leaked the audio.
I'm finna put the squeeze on and get me a couple dollars and just say, you know what I'm saying? There's nobody believed that was really Diddy beating Meek back in. But now y'all motherfuckers believe the video, right? Right? Somebody throw me a couple dollars, man.
Okay. Oh, man. Cat Williams warned us.
And the other side. And we don't, it's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Shit. I kind of get one here.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it?
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
Damn, so that supposedly that was the bodyguard that recorded that.
Yes.
And he claims that was Meek Mill and Diddy. Damn. Lord Almighty.
Don't mind if I do.
The time Juice went to Diddy's house?
I wouldn't. Shot. Don't mind if I do.
Damn, this foul what the other people did. Twitter. Throwing him on Combs. Throwing him on Combs. Don't on Diddy. Alright, keep it moving. We're waiting. 3:30, 9 minutes. About to get started. By the way, the whole bomb thing earlier today, or the explosives earlier today that they said was by the Trump rally, that turned out to be like a false alarm. They're saying that it was there for bomb sniffing purposes, like they were training a dog or something. I don't know why they would do that by a rally, but that's what it is. So it wasn't like a bomb threat or anything. Diddy. Oh, Sylvia did send me something too to check out.
News, breaking Halloween news. Last year, after I did the breaking Halloween news, Last year, after I did the Black Joker, I got a bunch of emails from the studio telling me to not be the Joker anymore, that I was breaching the trademark. And so I don't know what I'm gonna be this year. But I will say to the motherfucker that took all this time, you talking about sending me this 6 full papers. I'm not even gonna show the business on the papers, but to tell me not to be the Joker, I wanna tell you, you win. I'm not gonna be the Joker this year. Just because your ass had enough time to fuck up my motherfucking Halloween. Now watch.
This is the moment Sean Diddy Combs should have realized that something was coming down the pipeline when the studios started distancing themselves from him for any legal actions for him wearing the Joker costume. Let me check out the video that Subiel sent. Bum 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 bum.
You think I could book that for like the weekend of?
Diddy's video. I'm a savage. I get whatever I want.
14th when the soundtrack comes out. If so, bump somebody. All right, thanks. All right, love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get! Yes! What's next? What's next? I gotta get it. I'm not gonna stay fucking down. I'm not gonna stay fucking lying down. I can't do it, man. I can't do that. What's next? Give me something else. What can't you do? I can do it. I can do anything.
Ain't stop, won't stop. Take that, take that, take that. All right, let's see. Let's check in on the reporter. Currently on scene, he did a little live stream in front of 40 Foley Square Courthouse. U.S. versus Sean Combs bail appeal argument in 24 minutes. That was a while ago. He said that. Inner City Press will live tweet. All right, we're ready for the live tweets. I'm ready. Zesty Meek Mill. I'm ready for the live tweets, and let's see what happens today. Zesty. do this audio is a little bit better. Zesty! Let's see what else we can listen to in the meantime. Starting in a couple minutes.
You didn't get any stupid things or
Apparently they're going to do a documentary or a Diddy docuseries, they're saying, from the same people that did Quiet on the Set. I think that's the Nickelodeon thing. They will trace the mogul's pattern of depravity. Alright. Diddy's downfall will be the new subject of a docuseries by the makers of Quiet on the Set. Alright. I don't know if they're gonna... The program is set to release in 2025 on ID and Max. Okay. Diddy's last chance to get out, I guess, on bond. Will he get out? Boom, boom, boom.
Ernie, as a prison consultant, he often advises people on how to handle going to prison. So, Justin, first off, your thoughts on Sean Combs being scooped up on a Monday night at a hotel when he was expected to turn himself in on Tuesday?
Well, he's in real trouble. This case has gone on, or the conduct has gone on for a very long time, 2008, continuing till today, according to the government. Clearly, they think he's at risk to the community, which is why they're going to ask that he remain in detention. And I know part of the reason they like to arrest defendants who very willingly would go and surrender and turn themselves in. They like headlines, they like attention, and they want people to know, if you break the law, we're going to come and get you, regardless of the time, day, or how much privilege or wealth you might have. We're coming to get you. They like the show that accompanies arresting people, especially in high-profile cases.
So Diddy was going to turn himself in anyway. He was already there. It was literally the night before, but because the feds, they want to do a nice little show, pony trick show, and make it all fancy and dramatic, they arrested him before.
Even if Sean Combs knew he was going to be walking into a courthouse on a Tuesday, it still has to be a little bit of a shock. Maybe he thought, I'm going to walk into that courthouse, I'm going to surrender, I'll make my initial appearance, I'll make bail, maybe I'll get a GPS bracelet. But the U.S. attorney wants him to stay behind bars, and I'm assuming they will get what they're asking for. So this has to be a shock to somebody like Sean Combs, who is used to living in the lap of luxury.
It's a shock for anyone, whether you're rich or not, but certainly when you have that level of wealth and things have gone your way for so long, and you tend to have, when you're rich and famous, a lot of enablers around you who tell you what you want to hear, including potentially lawyers who are telling him what he may want to hear. They might have make it seem like it's a formality he's going to get bond. He may still get bond with very heavy restrictions and inability to leave New York, with an ankle bracelet monitoring at all times in his mansion. Some people make fun of home confinement because you can be in a mansion. This is not like a white collar crime. When people get indicted in a white collar crime, the headline will say they're looking at 40, 50 years in prison. Then they get sentenced and it's 18 months or 2 years. They love the headlines. In this case, with racketeering and fraud and arson and everything that's been alleged, when they say 30 or 40 years, that's no joke. It could be 30 or 40 years in prison if convicted, and not in these cushy minimum security camps. He will be on a higher security prison labeled a sex offender, which presents a whole slew of problems. So his only goal right now is somehow, some way to remain free, because the risk of serving time in that detention center, being isolated because of his status, would be devastating. And I'll also say part of the reason the government is arguing that he should be confined immediately is the obstruction charge, which alleges that after he knew that he was a target, he continued to make choices that exacerbated his struggles. They say he's a menace, Your Honor. We need him in custody.
The racketeering conspiracy charge alone carries a life sentence or a maximum penalty of up to life in prison. So, I mean, this is about as serious as it gets. I think a lot of people, though, after this long of an investigation, I mean, it had been going on since March. The feds have more than a 90% conviction rate. So they always have their ducks in a row when they issue an indictment. I think a lot of people were wondering, wow, 3 charges. It's 3 charges. Maybe they were expecting more. So were you expecting more to come out of this other than what we're seeing right here?
Well, first I'll say a federal investigation since March isn't that long. So they prioritized this. They got there pretty quickly. It doesn't surprise me that it's 3 charges. What will not surprise me is his continuing to fight. And there is very little willingness of people who are high profile to actually accept responsibility. He has a presumption of innocence. He has every right to go to trial, though with the evidence and what we're seeing, if convicted, he's looking at like the R. Kelly scenario, decades in prison. And I hope at some point, if the evidence is so overwhelming, he can say, if I've done something wrong and created victims, how can I make amends beyond just scratching checks? This is also devastating for my family. Is there some path to accept responsibility and plead guilty? Because if he's able to do that, he sets himself up for a scenario where he might not spend the rest of his life in prison. He can actually have some freedom and begin to get on the right side of the law and identify with people that he's hurt. The issue is Sam Bankman-Fried, Elizabeth Holmes, so many people, R. Kelly. Despite overwhelming evidence, they continue to go down this path of going to trial, claim that they are the victim, and if and when they lose, a sentence that could be 10 or 15 years. I'm not saying 10 or 15 years isn't a long time, but it's not 40 years or 30 years, which could be in his path, and they'll really get tight for him, I suspect, in time, once a lot of these enablers, you read all about him in the indictment, enabled the conduct, turned the other way, his partners, business partners, they didn't want to lose their job, the fame that accompanies working with him. When some of those people begin, as they say, to roll over and cooperate, because they don't have his resources. So at some point they need to say, I need to get on with my life and I don't want to serve 10 or 20 years in prison. What can I do to potentially get a shorter sentence, accept responsibility? And if that means cooperating against Sean Combs, so be it. And you can expect those things to happen. The government's very good at getting people to cooperate, and that could.
Yes, they spoke to a lot of witnesses. So we're still waiting. The reporter is inside, I guess. He says U.S. for Sean Combs bail appeal. It's happening now. He hasn't tweeted anything really yet, though, about it. Yesterday, they started like almost an hour late or something like that. Or it went on for an hour plus, but I guess they were already having the hearing. So hopefully it starts on time today. He's appealing. He offered a package deal to, supposedly it's a different judge today. So he offered a package deal, and one of the parts of it was that he said, I promise not to have females over, except like his family or whatever, you know. That was part of and everything else was pretty much the same from yesterday. And they're saying that he's not going to run. He's never run from anything in his life before. And to believe him. Believe it.
Going to induce some people to plead guilty, though I suspect he's taking it all the way to trial.
Well, and I was going to ask you about that, about the so-called enablers mentioned in the indictment. I mean, he didn't, according to the U.S. attorney, do this by himself. There was an enterprise that takes more than one person. And he's having, according to the U.S. attorney, people shipped in for these freak-offs. I mean, the freak-offs feature very prominently in this indictment. So he didn't do all of this by himself. He wasn't hanging out, handing out drugs by himself to participants, giving IV fluids to freak off participants. I mean, this was going on with the assistance and the help of a lot of people. We already know that Brendan Paul, the guy accused of being his drug mule, has entered a plea in Florida. So he may be cooperating. Do you expect that other people already are cooperating if they aren't, or will be soon? Because this has got to send a chill down the spine of a lot of people who were in his orbit. You said that you expect people to be cooperating, but do you think there may already be people cooperating?
I think people are already cooperating and help them build their case so quickly. When the FBI shows up, I know because they showed up to my home, one of the first questions they'll ask is there anything you'd like to tell us? That's an opportunity to give the government everything you possibly have with the hopes of getting what's called a 5K1 in the federal system, a cooperation letter to the judge expressing why this defendant is worthy of a shorter sentence. So certainly people are cooperating. And we can't forget, people are enamored with celebrity and stardom in this country. When you have power and influence, and you have people who sense an opportunity to make a living and live a lifestyle they never could have imagined, it's easy to rationalize their conduct. I work for him. It's his decisions. I don't want to lose the payday. These people are complicit. They're a part of it. And oftentimes these people in retrospect will say, I made bad decisions. So they're going to get a shorter sentence because they cooperated, and they did what so many high profile people fail to do: apologize. In these statements from lawyers and Sean Combs, there is very little identification with victims. Even his former girlfriend, he only eventually apologized after it came out on film that he had beat her. Even in that, it was self-serving. I think he said God or someone forgave him. So it tends to all be about him, and it doesn't help when you have the lawyers enabling the conduct. The lawyer said with all he's done, he should remain free. What has he done since 2008 to demonstrate that he lives as a law-abiding citizen according to the government? And lastly, I'll say, oftentimes people will plead guilty in federal court, get a shorter sentence because the judge will say, this went on over a month or two, was a crime of passion. You embezzled money 3 times, it was wrong, you're going to be held accountable. They're alleging 16 years. So you can't allege this is out of character for him. Here's what the government's going to say. This is his character to victimize other people, and worse, he fails to accept responsibility. He makes it all about himself. And that's why he's looking at decades in prison.
Do you expect more to come out of this? The U.S. attorney said this is an ongoing investigation, urged people to come forward. Do you expect a superseding indictment? Is this just the beginning?
I can't predict if more superseding indictments are coming, but certainly I think people they're cooperating, and therefore they're lawyering up. They're sitting in their home somewhere thinking, do I go to them, or are they going to come to me? Are they going to come and raid my home at 6 a.m. with the guns and the helicopters and take me into detention? And maybe they don't have the resources to post bond, or the lawyers advocating on their behalf. So more is coming. And I can tell you, from having just a dude that served a measly 18 months in a minimum security camp a long time ago, the hardest part is the waiting and wondering, are they coming? And if they come, what does that mean? And if they arrest me and I plead guilty, how long will I serve in prison? And I will say again, these sorts of crimes, look at where, R. Kelly is serving time. It's not in a camp. They're in higher security prisons where you're locked down, oftentimes isolated because the stigma that accompanies this sort of crime. So yes, people are freaked out and they're worried about what's coming next.
Well, we will watch.
Diddy, let's see if we got any court updates. In the very least, let's see if they say anything about like they started or what. Boosie badass. Let's see. Boosie badass sticks with Diddy. Nothing yet. Okay, wait, they got something here now. All right, we got started. Got a little feed. So 3 minutes ago, in high-ceilinged courtroom 110, Sean Combs is at the defense table, still in black shirt, not MDC tan uniform. Two U.S. Marshals seated behind him, waiting for the judge. Okay, that's the latest. Wait, is he doing a sound check?
I don't need to take pictures of it. All right. Cool.
Waiting on Diddy.
Yes? No? Maybe? Maybe. We'll find out.
It's long crime doing.
His attorney can file for another bond review, but more than likely he would be held until the trial date.
Natalie, what do you think about the chances that this appeal, having another judge, presumably the judge who will oversee the remainder of this case, determining what the issue of bail should be? Do you think that this judge will be more receptive to Combs' arguments and say, you know what, he should be released pending this trial?
It really depends, because Combs is in an interesting position. He's charged with a sex trafficking crime. And under the federal government, that comes with a presumption of flight risk and dangerousness because of the legislature. They looked at some research that said that people that are traffickers are more likely to take off running and not come to court. And so his attorney needed to rebut that by showing with some evidence that he's not dangerous. And that's what they had a really hard time with at the hearing.
So they're saying the hearing is starting now. All rise.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
Government AUSC. I can't say AUSA. Emily Johnson. The freak-offs were elaborate. They began in 2009 and extended into this year. These freak-offs were arranged with his entourage. The defendant used narcotics so that the victims would continue. Ketamine, GHB, and others. So the prosecution is talking first. They're starting off.
Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Do a little audio check. Okay. Let's see what else they got coming. Okay, the prosecution, again, new post. The defendant would record these freak-offs, at least in part, to use them as blackmail. When we have an email, a victim says, "You were going to make me. I'm not going to say it on public record," or "You were going to leak some FO shit." That's weird. Let me do it again. The defendant would record these freak-offs, at least in part, to use them as blackmail. We have an email. A victim says, "You were going to make me. I'm not going to say it on public record," or "You were going to leak some FO shit." Okay. So that, I guess they don't want to say what the guy was going to, I guess what Diddy wanted that person to do. Now, again, the prosecution, a different victim wrote, he said he was going to expose me with a sex tape. I was drugged. That's just 2 examples. And so it's rich when the defendant's submission filed today accuses the victim of extorting. He's the only extorter. Now, if you remember yesterday, Diddy's attorney flipped it on Cassie, I believe. And I think he was saying that, like, he's like, no. Cassie was cheating. Cassie was doing this. Cassie was doing that. Cassie called Diddy and threatened him that if I'm writing this book, an expose, and you can buy the rights. I think they claim for $30 million or something like that. So he's claiming that she was trying to extort us. And all right, so here we go. The prosecution says a different victim wrote. I just read this. He said he was going to expose me with a sex tape. I was drugged. Just 2 examples, and it's so rich. The defendant's submission filed today accuses the victim of extorting. He's the only extorter. What else we got? Here we go. No, not yet. Crazy. So the prosecution's coming in hot. They're not letting things slide. Now they're giving some examples of extortion. Here's another update. We seized 6 guns. They were in the defendant's home, and he had access to them. We are focused on the defaced guns in the defendant's closet. This is not about security, but dangerousness. The security team is the same one he says would monitor him. This is not about security, but dangerousness. The security team is the same one he says would monitor him. I guess. Okay. I don't know, man. I think they have too much on this guy, on Diddy, for him to just get out. I don't think because he has so many connections, so much money, so many people. They're worried about him running. I don't know if he can pull this off, man. I don't know. I don't think he can pull it off. Another update. The head of security has now been served with a subpoena. Ooh. Given what we've learned about his role in the offense conduct, now about the hotel assault, yesterday defense counsel called it a fight in a relationship, but it's trafficking. So the head of security got served. Oh, Lord. Lord almighty. All right, waiting for the next update. So it's a different judge. The prosecution's coming back in to make sure that his ass can't get out. We'll have to see what the defense's rebuttal is. Sounds like the feds got a lot of witnesses. A long list of witnesses. Ugh. Okay, another update. The defendant had a freak off on March 5th, 2016. We have evidence there was one commercial sex worker there in the room during the assault. She isn't even wearing shoes. She's in danger. Defendant storms out in a towel. So they're talking about the Cassie incident at the hotel, I believe. The defendant had a freak off on March 5th, 2016. We have evidence that there was one commercial sex worker in the room during the assault. So I am assuming this is the Cassie incident, but maybe there was somebody else in the room as well. When did the Cassie video come or happen? $2016. Yeah, 2016. Yep. Okay, waiting for an update.
We don't know exactly who that is, but it's possible it could be Cassandra Ventura, who had seen him physically abuse victim one, including by throwing these witnesses against walls and onto the ground, choking them and throwing objects at them, among other things, particularly when they attempted to protect victim one.
Okay. Another update. We have a message from the victim. I still have crazy bruising. He claims he wanted to get his clothes back, but that's not what happened. She tried to escape a room with the defendant and a commercial sex worker. She fled without shoes. So there was 2 people in the room. Well, 3 people total with Sean, but there was P. Diddy, there was Cassie, and then supposedly a commercial sex worker. I wonder if it was a male or female. I don't know. We have a message from the victim. I still have crazy bruising. He claims he wanted to get his clothes back, but that's not what happened. She tried to escape the room with the defendant and a commercial sex worker. She fled without shoes. Okay. Diddy, man, I don't think he can pull this off. Not even with all the money. And Boosie's pissed off. What's happening to Diddy? Okay. Immediately after the assault, the defendant sent these messages. Call me. The cops are here. I got 6 kids. Yo, please call. I'm surrounded. You're gonna abandon me all alone? The defendant knew he had done something that police, or something that could elicit police response. Immediately after the assault, the defendant sent these messages. Call me, the cops are here. I got 6 kids. Yo, please call. I'm surrounded. You're gonna abandon me all alone? Okay, that's Diddy. CNN? What's live? They're not allowed to film inside. All right, let's see. Six kids, yeah. Okay, still waiting on an update. This is wild, man. But like they said, this is not probably gonna have a court date till like next year, probably. Sometime next year. It's gonna be really interesting to follow. I mean, I guess they're not gonna have cameras, but if they have reporters in the courtroom, I don't know. Oh, Kyra, thank you. Says he has 4 biological kids and the other ones he took in. Okay. Okay. He covered up what he did this year after the surveillance video came out. Only then did he admit that it was him. Yesterday, it was claimed that his clothes were taken, but that's not what happened. Why drag the victim back down the hall to the hallway, down the hallway to the room? That's true. I forgot about that too. I mean, I don't know how I could forget, but yeah, he literally dragged her ass. That's crazy. He covered up what he did this year after the surveillance video came out. Only then did he admit it was him. Yesterday it was claimed that his clothes were taken, but that's not what happened. Why drag the victim back down the hall to the room? That's the shit. That actually really killed him too. The video, there's video of it happening. The claims that the prosecution's making, it's on video. And he paid to have the video scrubbed and hidden. They also said here, the indisputable evidence makes clear you cannot take the defendant at his word. March 5th, 2016 is far from the defendant's lone act of violence and obstruction. Freak-off activity is the core of this case. They use force, coercion, and drugs. Freak-off activity. freak off. Okay. Our investigation is ongoing. Half a dozen escorts is just the tip of the iceberg of the number of escorts who have participated in these freak-offs. This case is charged of sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. The acts were not consensual. That's what they're saying. Our investigation is ongoing. Okay, I just read that. Half a dozen escorts. Are the escorts going to be testifying too? Maybe we should do another poll too and see if people think they're gonna let him get out. What's up, everybody? Welcome. If you could help me out with the like button, I'd appreciate that. Helps out the algorithm. How is Alexis Lorenzi? I have to check. I did see a tweet about it. Let's see if I can find it. This was 3 hours ago. They said that Alexis Lorenzi, who has been suffering after being forced to have 3 vaccines in order to receive medical treatment, she's doing much better now, and she's getting treatment for her condition, which was not getting before we intervened. A couple people messaged me though and said that like they were never forced to take a vaccine to do a blood transfusion. So I don't know if that's something specific to that place. Weird. Still waiting on an update. Waiting on more updates. Brenda, yeah. I'm glad she's doing, I guess she's doing better. And she raised a lot of money too. Let's see the next update. Here we go. The defense is arguing, this is still the prosecution talking, but the prosecution is saying the defense is arguing that anyone in a freak-off wanted to be there. That's not the law. When people are threatened with exposure and are beaten, they cannot consent. That is trafficking. Victims' heads were slammed against car windows. Still going. Let's see. What else we got? What else? Okay. Here are some text. And here's the text message. When you get effed up, you knock me around. I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child. We have witnesses who witnessed the injuries. This conduct happened behind closed doors in houses, hotel rooms, and cars. Judge Tarnofsky was concerned. That's the yesterday's judge. Rude Boy says, so Diddy held someone's head and slammed it and said, you have to be in a freak off? Oh. Them Diddy parties. Let's see. Judge Tarnofsky found that she did not believe defense counsel can control the defendant. Consider the Mercedes case in the circuit. Reversing a decision to release a defendant. Let's turn to obstruction. Witnesses have expressed fear of him. What they're doing? I don't know, man. Yeah. Oh, let's do a poll. I don't think they're gonna get it. The bond. I think it's gonna be denied. Approved. Denied. Just did a poll.
We found him. We found.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You won't believe it. We found him. We found him. Oh my goodness gracious.
Thank you, Lord.
It was gross. It's horrible. But
Okay. They have directly contacts a victim in November 2023. Constant contact with witnesses to the charged conduct after subpoena before the government interviews. Two of these examples are there are communications between the defendant and witnesses, 13 contacts. "13 contacts with two people?" question mark. The judge asked. The attorney says, sorry, 14 contacts between the defendant and the witness. Also, he outreached to a witness he had not been in contact with for several years after the grand jury subpoena. He used intermediaries. All right, pimps. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's keep going. Updates. Okay. So it's only 2 messages. He recorded the conversation on another person's device. In November 2023, he called a victim twice. On November 19, he received a text from this other person in response. It reads, "I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. 3 pages in my experience." The attorney goes on to say the defendant called her and gaslit her, trying to convince her it has been consensual. He repeatedly said he was not supposed to be speaking on the phone. He tells the witness not to text him. The defendant said, if support, nothing to worry about, money. Money, money, money. Money, money, money! Money! Da, 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 da. I'm working on something for you guys too. Hopefully this Diddy thing doesn't take too long.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. Roselle! Z. No.
The defendant wrote his financial advisor should not make a mistake and not get that rent paid. This was obstruction. Okay. So the defendant wrote his financial advisor should not make a mistake and not get that rent paid. This was obstruction. We cite U.S. versus LaFontaine, a defendant who fed a false narrative. That's what's going on here.
Bruh, come on. Imagine what Diddy's going through. So this is what breakfast is. So today is Tuesday. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, he'll get fruit, cereal, breakfast cake, sugar substitute. I know it sounds good on paper. It don't look that good, okay? His lunch is gonna either be a hamburger or a black bean burger, a baker. This is like school lunch, if you know what I mean. Lettuce or tomatoes, sliced onions, ketchup. Why I say catsup? Ketchup or mustard. Whole wheat hamburger bun. These are options you could choose from. Fruit and beverage. And then for dinner, pasta with marinara, chef salad or tofu chef salad, beets, dressing, assorted, and whole wheat bread and some type of beverage.
Oh, it's not too bad, I guess. Thank you, bebecita. What is going to be eating for breakfast and lunch? They also said, I'll go over the cases. Prosecution said. The judge said, that's not necessary. I'm familiar with those cases. The attorney says, a recent civil suit last week, Dawn Richard filed a civil suit. She was in a band also with Miss Harper. Miss Harper issued a statement after 128 phone contacts. Damn. Also says, I'll go over those cases. Oh, I'm reading the same thing. My bad. Okay, waiting for an update. Waiting for an update. Let's see, any more updates? What we got? What else we got? What else do we have? Still waiting. Okay. Still waiting. A lot of the stuff is kind of repetitive somewhat from yesterday, you know? I mean, some of it, most of it, maybe. Some new things, but somewhat repetitive too from yesterday. The prosecution says, we didn't deal with Lawrence Ray's case. Magistrate Judge Fox ordered detention, even on one victim, but the judge found that corroborated by documentary evidence. Judge says, anything else? The attorney says a few more things. Judge says, how many? And prosecution says they need, I guess, 3 more minutes. Okay, so the prosecution's pretty much almost done. I want to hear what the defense has to say. All right. Okay, so still waiting for an update. What's up, everybody? Diddy asking for extra butter and margarine at meals. Getting us a stash. Did he do it? Okay, traveling to New York does not address danger to the community, says the prosecution. I'm here seeking detention, but I note that the bail package does not have enough conditions that focus on obstruction, and it couldn't. He's been involving other people. That's the whole thing where they've been saying that like he has other people make calls or he has other people use their devices and all that kind of stuff. So like she feels that he'll find ways around to communicate and threaten witnesses and make calls that he's not supposed to be making. I'm working out something. But this needs to be over. This Diddy thing. We need to find out what's going to happen. Approved or not approved? I mean, tell me now. Mm-hmm. Still waiting. No updates yet. Diddler. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't know. Okay, here we go. We got an update here. The defendant should be detained pending trial. Now the judge says, defense, ? Combs lawyer Mark Agnifilo. Let me start with Miss Harper. I was called by her and a lawyer. I said, do you want to make a statement or not? I later found out that she did. Okay, so it's the defense's turn now. Let's get it going.
Okay, guys, we're...
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I was just ducking for you guys. I was like, fuck it, it's over for me. You guys didn't want to see me go, hey. Well, man, I'm going to barely get this anyway, because I just got here. So,
Okay. I gotta fucking move. We gotta move!
I'm going to shoot something. I'm not going to shoot much. Yeah, and by use.
What else? What else we got here?
They'll be able to hear it.
So we're still waiting. Still waiting for an update. Okay. All right. Hold on. What's going on, Mel? What is going on, bro? Hold on. All right. All right, bros. We're gonna stay updated with the Diddy stuff. We gotta move over to this stream because we gotta talk about some shit. There's a couple claiming that Joseph Couch is found. They have live stream. We're gonna go check it out. Okay? We're gonna go check it out. But I will keep updated. I'm gonna tell you what happens with this thing. Alright? There we go. I'm gonna transfer you guys over. We just dropped the link in the chat. Where's the people at, though? Yeah. I don't know if it's true though, but they did. Okay, we'll talk about it. I did see a body. I did see a body.